All right, we have been working on linear equations. And all this is, if we look at our prefix here, these are just lines. But they have an official form, and we're going to talk about three main forms. The one we've been talking about in class is slope-intercept form. And like I said, this is just when we're given the slope and the intercept. So my form looks like this, y equals mx plus b. And what we're going to do when plugging in our numbers, we are leaving those x and y's as x and y. Okay, I don't need anything added to them because I want to use that for any function. My m, this is my slope. And then my b, this is my y-intercept. Okay, we said this is where the line crosses. The y-axis. Okay, so that's my first form. So an example could be y equals 2x plus 5. So my slope is 2, my y-intercept is 5. So that's our basic slope-intercept form. Now let's say we weren't given the slope, but instead we were given a point on the graph. So in this form, I still have my basic y and my basic x. I still have my m. Nothing has changed. This is still my slope. This y1 and x1, this is from a point on my graph. So this is from point, and we're going to say x1, y1. So it's just any point on the graph. So let's say we're talking about our line passing through the point -3, 2 with a slope that is equal to 1/2. So my point slope form is just y. My y point is 2 equals, my slope is 1/2, x minus -3. Now, what happens when I have that minus and negative? Well, that's just going to change into x plus 3. And I don't need to simplify any further. I could, and if I do that, I could simplify into my slope-intercept form. But for right now, I'm just going to leave it as point slope. And the third type is if I'm looking at my intercept. So this is my standard form. Okay, and standard form has a couple restrictions. So the first one is that there are no fractions. No fractions in my standard form. The second one is that A, B, and C are whole numbers. Okay, so the no fractions tells you they have to be whole numbers. That's all three of them. So that's my first restriction. The second restriction is that A cannot be negative. If it is, I have to multiply everything by a negative to make sure that it's not. So this would be something like, my example here could be 3x minus 5y equals 20. That's an example of a standard form. So all whole numbers, and my a is not negative, so I'm good. Okay, so these are all equations of lines. We're going to now take that and glue it into our notebook.